सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुगमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षये सूतमहामुने शौनकादिऋषिभ्यो अत्र्यादिऋषिभ्यो नमः। प्रह्लादादिभक्तजनेभ्यो नमः। दक्षिणामूर्तिदत्तात्रेयहयग्रीवादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री आदिपराशक्तिमात्रे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कंदः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थिते। अथ पंचविंशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच। Let us chant from 7th mantra. Om धर्मे चार्थे च कामे च यदासौ परिनिष्ठितः गुणानां सन्निकर्षोऽयं श्रद्धारतिधनावहः। प्रवृत्तिलक्षणे निष्ठा पुमान् यर्हि गृहाश्रमे स्वधर्मे चानुतिष्ठेत गुणानां समितिर्हि सा। पुरुषं सत्त्वसंयुक्तम् अनुमीयात् शमादिभिः कामादिभिरजो युक्तं क्रोधाद्यैस्तमसायुतं यदा भजति मां भक्त्या निरपेक्षः स्वकर्मभिः तं सत्त्वप्रकृतिं विद्यात् पुरुषं स्त्रियमेव वा। यदा ह्याशिष आशास्य मां भजेत स्वकर्मभिः तं रजः प्रकृतिं विद्यात् हिंसाम् आशास्य तामसं सत्वं रजस्तम इति गुणा जीवस्य नैव मे चित्तजायैस्तु भूतानां सज्जमानो निबध्यते। यदेतरौ जयेत् सत्वं भास्वरं विशदं शिवं तदा सुखेन युज्येत धर्मज्ञानादिभिः पुमान्। यदा जयेत् तमः सत्वं रजः संगं भिदाचलं तदा दुःखेन युज्येत कर्मणा यशसा श्रिया। यदा जयेत् रजः सत्वं तमो मूढं लयं जडं युज्येत शोकमोहाभ्यां निद्रया हिंसयाशया। यदा चित्तं प्रसीदेत च इन्द्रियाणां च निर्वृतिः देहे अभयं मनोसंगं तत्सत्वं विद्धि मत्पदं विकुर्वन् क्रियया चाधीः अनिर्वृत्तिश्च चेतसां गात्रा स्वास्थ्यं मनोभ्रान्तं रज एतैर्निशामय सीदच्चित्तं विलीयेत चेतसो ग्रहणे क्षमं मनो नष्टं तमोग्लानिः तमस्तदुपधारय येदमाने गुणे सत्त्वे देवानां बलमेधते असुराणां च रजसि तमस्युद्धवरक्षसां सत्त्वाज्जागरणं विद्यात् रजसा स्वप्नमादिशेत् प्रस्वापं तमसा जन्तोः तुरीयं त्रिषु सन्ततम् उपर्युपरि गच्छन्ति सत्त्वेन ब्राह्मणा जनाः तमसाधोद आमुख्यात् रजसान्तरचारिणः सत्त्वे प्रलीनाः स्वर्यान्ति नरलोकं रजोलयाः तमोलयास्तु निरयं यान्ति मामेव निर्गुणाः मदर्पणं निष्फलं वा सात्विकं निजकर्म ततो राजसं फलसङ्कल्पं हिंसाप्रायादितामसं कैवल्यं सात्विकं ज्ञानं रजो वैकल्पिकं च यत् प्राकृतं तामसं ज्ञानं मन्निष्ठं निर्गुणं स्मृतं वर्णं तु सात्विको वासः ग्रामो राजसो उच्यते तामसं द्यूतसदनं मन्निकेतं तु निर्गुणं सात्विकः कारको असङ्गी रागान्धो राजसः स्मृतः तामसः स्मृतिविभ्रष्टः निर्गुणो मदपाश्रयः सात्विक्याध्यात्मिकी श्रद्धा कर्मश्रद्धा तु राजसी तामस्य धर्मे या श्रद्धा मत्सेवायां तु निर्गुणा पथ्यं भूतमनायस्तम् आहार्यं सात्विकं स्मृतं राजसं चेन्द्रियप्रेष्ठं तामसं चार्तिदाशुचि सात्विकं सुखमात्मोत्थं विषयोत्थं तु राजसं तामसं मोहदैन्योत्थं निर्गुणं मदपाश्रयं द्रव्यं देशः फलं कालः ज्ञानं कर्म च कारकः श्रद्धावस्था कृतिर्निष्ठा त्रैगुण्यः सर्व एव हि सर्वे गुणमया भावाः पुरुषा व्यक्तधिष्ठिताः दृष्टं श्रुतमनुध्यातं बुद्ध्या वा पुरुषर्षभ एताः संस्तुतयः पुंसः गुणकर्मनिबन्धनाः ये नेमे निर्जिताः सौम्य गुणाजीवेन चित्तजाः भक्तियोगेन मन्निष्ठः मद्भावाय प्रपद्यते तस्मात् देहमिमं लब्ध्वा ज्ञानविज्ञानसम्भवं गुणसङ्गं विनिर्धूय मां भजन्तु विचक्षणाः निस्सङ्गो मां भजेत् विद्वान् अप्रमत्तो जितेन्द्रियः रजस्तमश्चाभिजयेत् सत्त्वसंसेवया मुनिः सत्त्वं चाभिजयेद्युक्तः नैरपेक्षेण शान्तधीः सम्पद्यते गुणैर्मुक्तः जीवो जीवं विहाय मां जीवो जीवविनिर्मुक्तः गुणैश्चाशे सम्भवैः मयैव ब्राह्मणा पूर्णः नभिर्नान्तरश्चरेत् इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे गुणत्रयविभागयोगः नाम पञ्चविंशोऽध्यायः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीभागवत शरणं मम श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम श्रीसूत शरणं मम श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम श्रीव्यास शरणं मम श्रीनारद शरणं मम श्रीकुमार शरणं मम श्रीब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्रीविष्णु शरणं मम श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ॐ मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्यें रसः अतः पिबन्तु तद्भाग्याः मामामुञ्चकरिचिदा। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणमेकादशस्कन्धः मुक्तिरित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेणैव स्थितिः। अथ पञ्चविंशोऽध्यायः गुणत्रयविभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच What a beautiful topic, important topic as regards sadhana is concerned. Here, in very clear terms, we are explained about what is Maya, what is Prakriti in the form of these three gunas. Although it is so difficult, and unless the grace of the Lord is there, that we will not be able to transcend the Maya completely, yet there is a chance for us to will and also put efforts to slowly conquer or master these three gunas. And this management and mastery of these three gunas is like the driving of the car or two wheeler, where the two wheeler tries to skid because the pull of the earth to down. But till we reach our destination, we continuously balance the vehicle all the time. Whenever the turns have to be taken, speeds has to be increased, speeds have to be lowered. At every moment, we are balancing our vehicle and driving. So, Antakarana is as vehicle. The trigunas are the ones in which consciously we have to monitor them and balance. And the slipping thing in the travel is slipping or falling into the rajas tamas. Becoming aware of it and not falling into that zone of rajas tamas, always maintaining the balance of sattva is the price we have to pay. And as Sattva increases, so too the Ishvara Krupa, Guru Krupa, our own Atma Krupa on ourselves falls in the form of all Sattvika activities like Punya Ityadi and also all our Sattvika pursuits of Adhyatmikata Ityadi. Then as we grow in these Punya Karmas or sadhanas, because of the increased Sattva Guna in us, we are going to have externally also the Sukha in the form of comforts, name and fame. Internally also the spiritual unfoldment starts happening. So continuous monitoring every day, every hour, every moment. What guna is attack me and how to come out of the lower gunas, enter into the higher guna. Also, whatever things beings around us are, whichever are prompting, tempting us to involve, if I involve in these things, what guna will enter into me through them? We have to be very careful about it. Whether it is a food item, whether it is any perception through any of the senses, whether any topic interacted with anybody, when any of the topic discussed with anybody, whatever it is, all the time we are aware. Through these I am involving in myself. These are the gunas. Most important, the Shabda from the people, then the Rupa from the eyes, from the ears, and Rupa from the eyes, and the Bhojana through the tongue, through which we enter into any of the three gunas depending on what sort of thing we are allowing inside. Along with already there is a lot of prarabdha to us. Already there is a lot of the prabhava of the yuga on us, kala. Already the prabhava of the people around us. Along with that, we also cooperate for the negative gunas. Along with prarabdha and kala influence of the people. If we also allow only rajotama gunas from our side also, then there's no chance for us to rise into the higher sattva guna, use that sattva guna for higher evolutions. And if opportunity comes, all those things because of which rajas tamas increasing in me, I should be able to give up with the slightest of chance or opportunity. And equally with slightest chance or opportunity, if something is around us which is going to give us sattva guna, just grab it. A Mahatma you met, take blessings, sattva guna. A temple en route, wait 2 minutes, go and do namaskar, sattva guna. There is any tirtha prasada, sattva guna. Any puja upasana happening, sattva guna. You understand? All that you know. And any other rajas tamas things, we have to avoid. It's a continuous, constant, lifelong process. A sadhaka cannot be partial or temporary. He cannot be, spiritual sadhana is not a part-time job. ये थोड़ा कर दिया बाकी I can do whatever I want. You can do thoda spiritual, thoda ego, but don't expect that wonderful growth will happen, evolution will happen spiritually. In fact, in spiritual sadhana, the professionalism required is more than that of worldly achievements. Commitment required is more than the worldly achievements. The time, energy to be given is also so much, so much. More important thought is what? To be in the worldliness. Spirituality is not an abstraction. Therefore, you can be worldly with little addition of spirituality like time pass. But the other way around, spirituality के लिए the materialism, worldliness is so much opposite that you have to give it up completely. Then only truly we can grow in sadhana. Keeping all that in mind, using this knowledge which is given to us by the Lord Krishna through Bhagavata regarding these three gunas of Prakriti and their influence in our life, we have to slowly mold ourselves. Having said this few thoughts, yesterday we have seen, depending on the phala apeksha, the three gunas of the bhakta. Bhakta of three types. Three types of bhaktas are there. All are Bhagavan's devotees only. But the Satvika Bhakta is he who is doing his dharma anushtanam without compromise, offering all that to the Bhagavan and zero apeksha from the Lord. He is called as Satvika Bhakta. And the one who is doing bhakti to the Lord of all hangama, etc., expecting something from the Lord as rewards. He is called Rajasic Bhakta, and he is given that. Not that Rajasi Bhakta is denied. No, he is given whatever the Phalapeksha asks. But that Phala is not going to be permanent. They will be back to the same earlier position of square one with the same beggary. But the higher one who is doing dharma, offering to Lord without Phalapeksha, the result will be the Antakarana Shuddhi. The result will be this jiva or person or sadhaka is liked by the Guru and God. And in the Shuddha Antakarana, it becomes easy for them to sow the seeds of the spiritual knowledge, wisdom. And who is the tamasic bhakta? The one who is himsa ashasya tamasam. Is only in the mind is what? Hare ka himsa karna hai. Taking everybody as enemies and to destroy them, all the power sixties are required. For that sake, I am praying to the Lord. All the abhichara homas, the variety of things that are there, the jadu tona, kala jadu, I don't know what they call. Variety of them, they are all in the tamasic bhakti. So this is what is the thought we saw yesterday. Himsamashasya tamasam. Then in the 12th mantra where we paused yesterday, very, very important topic came. The 4 points that are told in that sloka. First one was Sattvam Rajah Tamaiti Gunaha Jivasya Naiva Me. Me means Mama. Na Mama Eva, Jivasya Eva. These three gunas belong to Jiva. And the one who comes under the influence of the gunas is Jiva only. It is Jiva only who is the one who has to transcend Rajas Tamas, enter into Sattva. What about the me, the pure self? Because it is beyond Maya, therefore beyond Prakriti, therefore it is beyond three gunas. Therefore, three gunas never touch Paramatma, thank God. Then the Upadi Tadatma Yukta, that pseudo ego is there, no? Called Jiva, that is you and me now. This fellow is always under the influence of these three gunas. The first thing is this. Three gunas belong not to the Atma, three gunas belong to the Jiva. Three gunas influence the Jiva, not the Paramatma. In that only, as long as we are influenced by the gunas, we are bound as Jivatma only. Only when we transcend the gunas, we become Paramatma. And there is definitely the technique to transcend gunas. In that, through Rajas Tamas, you cannot. Through Sattva only, you can transcend. But Sattva, you have to increase in yourself at the cost of Rajas and Tamas. These are the things we have to thoroughly master in our intellectual understanding. And Shrutamme Gopaya or Yashan through those mantras, praying to the Lord, asking Him to bless us to have this knowledge always on the surface of our intellect and keep on using that. This is what the prayer and prayatna we have to do to keep this knowledge always in our intellect level, ready for using in any of the situation. So the gunas belong to Jiva, not to the Atma. Point one. Point two is what? Chittajaha. They are in the antakarana only, these three gunas. Remember, I told you yesterday, toward the end of it, the antakarana itself is stuff called Prakriti. Prakriti has three gunas. Therefore, potentially, the antakarana, chitta, has all the three gunas in it. Interesting point. Same stuff called as Prakriti made the antakarana or chitta. Because in the Prakriti, the three gunas are there. In the chitta also are three gunas are there. But the funny part is what? Among these three gunas in the chitta, whichever you give chance, that become predominant in that chitta. Is it not? Like a water remaining water, from what height you pour the water down, depending on that, the speed and power of the water, you see. So to water remaining water, when it is flowing, decaying the heights and lows and downs, you can see the speed of the water. When long space is given to water, slowly it moves. Then when the space reduced for the water, it becomes more gurgling in its speed. और भी कम करो तो और जोर से बहता है. पानी एक ही है. Hope that example is trying to is able to convey the thought to you. You are getting it. Stuff is water, but its speed depends on from where it is poured. So too, stuff is antakarana. Potentially, it has three gunas because the antakarana made from prakriti, which has got three gunas. In spite of that, which guna has to come out of that? The antakarana. That freedom always is there. Not knowing this, if anybody is allowing the antakarana to take the shape of rajas and tamas. See, the iron is a ore. You can make knife out of it. The three knives can be made with that. One is a butter knife. Very dull it is. It won't cut any vegetable. Only the butter it can cut. Blunt wala. Same iron you can use to make a knife which can cut the vegetables. With the same iron, we can make a knife or sword which can cut the throats of people. Whatever the example I am giving, try to catch it. Stuff remaining same antakarana, potentially it has three gunas because it came from Prakriti. Which guna you want to bring out of it is in your hand. Like a 100 rupees note. With a 100 rupee, potentially 100 rupee. You can use it for a spiritual activity. You can use it for the bhoga ani. You can use it to destroy somebody or yourself. Chittajaha. Clear? Second point, chittajaha. Then what happened? Third one is yaitu sajjamanaha bhutanam nibadhyate. So, hmm, with these maya antakarana vrittis, be attentive, prompted by the three gunas, whichever the guna I am promoting in it, with this particular mold or shape taken antakarana of mine, I am getting identified with the beings and the things of the world, and thus I am living my life of bondage. Clearly said here, yaihi tu bhutanam sajjamanaha nibadhyate. Is it? See, if my antakarna is tamoguni, then according to tamoguna of the mana, I get identified with the tamasic objects and with the people in a tamasic way. So too, if my mind is Rajasika, then I'll be only attuned to the Rajasic objects, Rajasic people, Rajasic topics. So to अंतकरण सत्व है तो सत्व वाले भूतों से objects it means सत्व वाले beings से with the beings I get identified and get bound. Third point. First, gunas belong to Jiva, not to the Atma. Second, they are born in the Chitta. Third one is that Chitta which has taken shape of any of these three gunas. One time, one only. Accordingly, he gets bound by, that Chitta gets bound by, or I get bound by the world of things and beings through the medium of my Chitta, which is of any of these three gunas. This is how it is happening. So if I close my eyes and see what is the guna that is predominant in my antakarana. According to that, by identification, attachment, craving, wanting, etc. of those sort of objects and people and the topics, etc. all through life मैं चित्त को एक नए गुण में रख रहा हूँ, उसके कारण वस्तु व्यक्ति से किसी न किसी तरह से अटैच होकर फंस रहा हूँ. सज्जमानः निबध्यते. Remember, by getting attached, he gets bound. Sajjamana is attachment, Nibatyate is bound because of the chitta toward the things and beings, depending on whichever the guna is there in the chitta. Therefore, the jiva with his chitta, with its any of these three gunas, is getting bound in that particular aspect of things or beings or situations. Self inside is untouched at any period of time. This shloka has to be by hearted very clearly. Theme of it. If you can't by heart the shloka, the understanding should be Sattvam Rajastamiti Gunaha Jivastu Jivasya Na Atmanaha. Then Chittaja, they are born in the Chitta. Yaitu Sajjamanaha Bhutanam Nibadhyate. Everybody in the universe, whether they study this subject or not, whether they know it or not, that these are the three gunas of the Prakriti. From Prakriti, Antakarana came. In the Antakarana also three gunas are there. This is how I am getting bound, whether he knows it or not. In the common language of English, which can be easily understandable by other, what you can say, every being in the world is bound to the world because of the moods of his mind. Everybody is bound to the world, bound through the medium of the mind, and medium of the mind and the mood of the mind at different given situation. Every being in the world bound to the world by the moods of the mind. The mood of lethargy, laziness, indolence, tamoguna, the mood of activeness, dynamism, arrogance, dominance, selfishness, the mood of rajoguna, the mood of the goodness, the charity, the nobility, that's called mood of Satchoguna. So the tamoguna person of lethargy, laziness is bound in those type of activities. The rajoguna mooded mind person of dynamism, activism, he cannot leave that, he will be indulging, involving in that also. Only. So to the sattva vyakti. So in general language, you can say, I, through my moods of my mind, I am bound in the world. Clear? So the picture should be clear by now, at least intellectually, theoretically. Need to reach the self, which is my real essential identity. Right now, I am suffering as a jiva by my involvement in the world through my mind colored by three gunas. And luckily for us, among these three gunas, all the three are not enemies. All the three are not destructive or binding. Two are there. One is good one. The Sattva Guna is always helpful to us. If that were not there, only Rajas Tamas only were there, then nobody would have got that liberation or knowledge or wisdom or freedom. So that's the beauty of Bhagavan Shakti called as Maya. In that Avidya Maya of Tamas Rajas is there to bind us. Same time the Vidya Maya also is there to liberate us. The Avidya Maya is Rasik Tamasic, in which only activities, selfishness, ego, propitiation, they're all there. Tamasic, laziness, lethargy, all the gunas already exhaustively explained. Pandra, 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 gulu bata chuke hain already. Is only the Vidya Maya Sattva Guna, in which all the positive qualities are there, that makes the Jiva evolve more and more. Spiritually as well as in the world also, in his noble activities, noble results. Remember, life is of choice. Choice of giving up everything external or grass and reach to the ultimate truth. Or the life is again of choice that you are not interested in the spirituality, but you want to excel or exceed in the worldly achievements through this Sattva Guna. ये भी हो सकता है. अर्थ काम में भी आपको बड़ा हो सकता है, धर्म में भी अभी महान हो सकते हैं, मोक्ष में भी महान हो सकते हैं. We can put it as Arthakama is led by the tamasic mind, Dharma is by the rasic mind, or the Sattvamana is because of Moksha Purushartha. Moksha Purusha Sattvic. In this way, you can analyze. That all will come in the subsequent sloka. So now, how actually the drama is happening in every individual, and this happening has to be observed. And after observing, you have to take charge of that happening and make it happen according to your choice. Like one stone fell on the other stone for a fraction of second because this rupture or that क्या कहते हैं उसको एक दूसरे को घीसने से a fire came. That fire caught the twigs there. Then it started burning. Then this phenomena where one stone fell on the other and it ruptured and the fire came and it has burnt the place is observed by those people of the yore before the fire was discovered. Then they made use of that phenomena. That whenever they wanted, then they took two stones and they did like that, the fire came. Then they used for burning all the prey, whatever they have killed, the animals, then used to start eating. The fire age, or if something is there like that, it happened. In the same way here, what happens is shown. We have to make that happen. What happens is shown, where the lower ones, and we are told not to allow that to happen. So there, how the fire happens is learnt. But if that fire is misused, it will burn all the good things. You have to protect from that. इस दुनिया में ना जो भी एक बंदा डिस्कार करता है ना, वो जो हो रहा है ऑलरेडी उसको देख कर ही डिस्कार करता है. Like the panchi is flying. Seeing that only he thought how to fly. Is it not? Then he created all the machinery, then the heavy cargoes and long distances, all of that discard, and he also learned the principle as to how not to fly so that we should not fall. Though that fail, sometimes it fails. So here also in the first shloka about the sattva guna, when it is predominant, how the thing happens, it is told. Then that we have to make it happen consciously. मतलब क्या हुआ, पिछले जन्म के पुण्य पाप कर्मों से अंतःकरण में आज के दिन सत्वगुण है तो कैसा होगा, रजस तमस है तो कैसा होगा, बता रहे by itself. Then as sadhaka, we have to make the sattva happen. We have to eliminate the rajas tamas happen. Yeah. Now how it goes like this. Yadetarau jaye sattvam bhaswaram vishadam shivam tada sukhena yujeta dharma jnanadibhi puman. So beautiful these three shlokas are. So wonderful, so clear, so very, very important. First, yada means whenever, by accident first, thereafter by incident through our effort. But that yada, whenever, itarau jayet sattvam. When the sattva guna defeats and conquers the other two gunas, means it eliminates those two, means it doesn't allow those two to happen or come, means itself is predominant, not allowing those two gunas. This is the meaning of जब सत्व बाकी दो गुणों को जीतेगा, हराएगा. सो यदा सत्वम इतरौ जयेतु. Clear? And that sattva, when it has conquered the other two gunas, how that sattva guna expresses in that person. And always sattva guna, when we say it's about antakarana. Three things: bhaswaram, vishadam, shivam. Bhaswaram is full of brightness and brilliant. Vishadam is very deep and exhaustive. Subtle, Vishadam means. Bhaswaram means bright, Vishadam is subtle, then Shivam means pure. Okay. In that Vishadam, Bhaswaram, bright, brilliant, then Vishadam is very, very subtle. Shivam means very pure, very concentrated. That time when the Antakarana becomes, that is called as Sattva Guna. प्रकाशमान है, भास्वरम है. विशदम मीन नो वेगनेस, एब्सोल्यूट क्लैरिटी, डीप क्लैरिटी, क्लियर in a mood of absolute peace and tranquility and auspiciousness, goodness, all put together, we call it as pure. Pure, subtle, as well as bright and brilliant. When these three are there, that time the sattva guna is there. And that type of sattva guna, when it is there, defeating the other three gunas of rajas and tamas, what will happen? Tada sukhena yujjeta. At that time, that individual is sukhena, effortlessly is happy. And in being effortlessly happy at that time, what happens effortlessly again in that person, causing the happiness, is dharma jnana adibihi pumano. So effortlessly, okay, this person does his dharma of all the duties. Effortlessly, he gains the knowledge. Adi means he gains all the good values or virtues, positive. Even if you add spirituality, effortlessly, naturally, he is a devotee. तो बिना प्रयत्न का भक्त बनना, बिना प्रयत्न का सद्गुण रखना, बिना प्रयत्न मतलब प्रयत्न करते हुए ज्ञान को पाना और धर्म पे रुचि रखकर धर्म ही करना, इन सब के कारण सुख में रहना, विदाउट रिग्रेट्स, विदाउट गिल्ट्स, विदाउट सेंस ऑफ फियर्स और इनसिक्योरिटीज. दैट इज हाउ पर्सन विल बी when he is in him the sattva guna defeated rajas and tamas, and that sattva guna is bhaswaram vishadam shiva. This happens because of the punya of the past. मतलब जब जब मन ऐसा होता है तब तब बंदा ज्ञान पाता है, धार्मिक रहता है, सद्गुणों का प्रैक्टिस करता है, भक्त रहता है, ओवरऑल खुश में रहता है. This is what I said. When one stone fell on the other, then the fire came out. That is seen. So we are seeing it. A new person, whether he studied gunas or not, whether he has studied this topic of Bhagavad and Gita or not, but because of his destiny of the past deeds, at a particular moment of his life, वो 1 मिनट का हो सकता है, घंटे का होएगा, 1 दिन का होएगा, जिस दिन उनको पता नहीं है, लेकिन इन हिम सत्वगुण इज प्रिडोमिनेंट. Rajas tamas are very low level. That person, whether a spiritual person, non person, जानता है नहीं जानता है, उसका अंतःकरण ब्राइट ब्रिलियंट सटल रहकर ना इतना प्योर पक्का रहता हुआ, he is gaining knowledge, he is following his dharma, he is not allowing the mind to get corrupted. Such person is very sukha shanta. Now, having known this, we have to practice this. What is the practice to be done? We have to be in the sukha sthiti. Sukha is gained when we are involving dharma, jnana, punya karma, sadguna as well as bhakti. And to do that, the energy, interest, etc. has to come to us. The interest energy come to us when we have our intellect very sharp, subtle, called as bhaswaram, vishadam, shivam. And how to make that one? By involving in sattva guna. How to do that? By eliminating rajas, tamas. It is both. When sattva increases, these are the gunas. When these gunas are practiced, sattva increases. Therefore, to put it simple way, when rajas and tamas are fully defeated and eliminated by sattva guna, and that sattva guna, when it is there, the person's mind is bhaswara vishadam shivam. Because the bhasvarata vishadatta and shivata of the mana, he is fully involving dharma, jnana, bhakti, good values and all. Adi, he means all that. Then you can see the joy in him, the satisfaction in him, the contentment in him. These are never polluted by the guilts or regrets. क्योंकि ऐसा कोई दुष्कर्म या पाप नहीं किया, धर्म कर रहा है, खुद अंदर से खुश है, और seeing this, the people appreciate him that he is living a noble life. Then he is gaining knowledge and he is using that knowledge to help others. Everybody is happy with him. They are giving more salary and all. And all sadgunas he has gone, which are helping him in the world, they are helping him. Then finally, he with that sattva of dharma jnanadi is such a devotee. And he enjoys that devotion. Lord also enjoys that pure devotion of this bhakta or who is a sattva. He also reciprocates. ऑन होल सप्त रजस तमस को दबाकर सत्व जब प्रिडोमिनेंट होता है, ऐसा होता है. इसलिए हमें सत्व रजस तमस को दबाकर सत्व को प्रिडोमिनेट करना है, तब ये होता है. In the same way, the rajas tamas, when they become predominant, suppressing the other two gunas, this is how the behavior of that person creating chaos to himself and the world. Therefore, deliberately, consciously, we have to avoid that. You understand it? This is what it happens in general. This is how Prakriti is influencing the people. They don't know this is how it's happening. You and I are taught. Rishi Muni Parampara, they studied seeing three types of people's behavior. ये ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है, ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है, ऐसा क्यों? या एक ही बंदा in three different periods of time behaved in three ways. Then analyze and they codified and mentioned all that. The one who behaved in this noble way, that means it's Sattva Guna. The one who is in this way of ego and selfish, Rajo Guna. The one who is very criminal type and very lazy is in Tamo Guna. They codified and gave us. They were always element Rajastamas, always involving Sattva Guna. That is the lesson we have to be learnt, we have to be taught, and we have to learn. Maintain that, maintain that, maintain that. So feel this shloka's meaning. I want to be in a very happy state inside and outside. That will happen only when I am involved in dharma karma, jnana karma, bhakti karma, upasana karma, sadguna, seva, sudhan. This will happen when my mind intellect is so bright, brilliant, when it is sharp and subtle, when it is the purest. That will happen when I am in sattva guna. That will happen when the other two gunas are not allowed. Get out. Now see the second one. Equally same. Yada jayet tamaha sattvam rajah sangam bhidavalam tada dukkhena yujyeta karmana yashasasriya. Hmm. So, yada jayet tamaha sattvam rajaha. Earlier, the sattva became victorious, defeating other two fellows. Here, the victorious guna is rajas. To become victorious, what it has done? It has suppressed the sattva and tamas. So sattva tamas ko dabakar jab raj jay ko pata hai, again it is by prarabdha. Then these are the expressions of that person. Not so healthy. Therefore, we should try to avoid it. That is a lesson. And at that time, what is the nature of that rajoguna yuktamana, which has not allowed tamas or sattva to come into that? That time his nature is sangam bhida balam. Okay, sangam is attachments. Then bhida means seeing only differentiation. Balam means what? Forcefulness, insistence in doing the things. These are the three gunas that will be there. In the rajas is predominant, not allowing sattva and tamas to come. Sangam is extreme attachment to the actions, to the results, to the things and beings, and more to his own dehendriyadi. एंड वट एवर ही प्लान्स और थिंग्स उसके प्रति इतना आस, मैंने कहा ना ऐसे होना चाहिए. संग रजोगुण है संग प्रधान. सेकंड भिदा भेद दृष्टि. He will not be able to have the samadrushti of all are one, all are friends, all are like that. He will have bheda drushti of they are mine, they are not mine. The raga dvesha is very strongly. So very strong raga dvesha, very strong insistences or attachments. Then balam is very forcefully executing his willingness, whatever he wills. That's what is the predominance when of a Rajaguna is there. Tada, at that time, what will happen is vela dukkena yujyeta. Rajaguna dukh mein rehta hai. Now the interesting thing. While going through that dukkha, what causes him dukkha actually? These three things. And these three things are done by him because of his mind is in Rajaguna, because of which Sangha, Bheda, Bala are there. Sangha attachment is simply understandable. Bheda is differentiating. Balam is forcefully insisting upon whatever is wanting and liking that alone to happen. And the dukkha is caused by these three things happening to him. Karmana, yashasa, shriya. Very interesting. He will involve in the karma only, but still it will lead to dukkha. Because with Rajoguna, he will do that type of karma forced by the attachment and Bheda Buddhi. Second is very interesting. Yashasa. He struggles to get the yasha. He will get the yasha, but that itself becomes cause of misery to him. Because he wants that yasha to be continuous. And whatever that caused him to get that yashas, that karma he wants to do again and again. But every time he will not be able to do that. So his desire is to get yasha. When the yasha doesn't come to him, he becomes miserable. When the yasha comes to him, he becomes more greedy. Very interesting. In this regard, I remember one of the movies. This very funny, interesting scene. This person has appreciated, praised that fellow like anything. He got so happy, Yasha. Then he started calling everybody in that party and telling this fellow to tell everyone about his greatness. जैसे कि आपने मेरा प्रेज किया आउट ऑफ योर लव आई वॉज सो bloated up with your praise to me Yasha that I started calling everybody in that party and telling you इनको भी बताओ अब आप कब तक बताओगे सेम चीज बताओ 5-10 मिनट को थक जाते कि नहीं then you feel I feel bad कि you're not telling about me to them properly with the josh with which you said in the beginning. So in that movie clip, you can see slowly that Banda, after telling to 10 people about his glory, he just become punctured only. He cannot speak anything more. In the same way, he is such a Yasha Mangarar, and all the time he is wanting that Yasha. Sometime it come, doesn't come. He is मिल गया तो भी दुखी है क्योंकि उसको इतना बड़ा चाहिए. Is it not? In his own gully, let us say, is appreciated or any garland is done. He wants in his own town to be done, then in the district headquarters, then in the state, then I must be famous in the whole nation. This is called as Yashaha, gives him dukkha even though it is coming, because the Rajoguna with its Shakti inside it of the Bala and Bheda and Rajoguna Sangha, it goes on making him work for it. Very surprising it. नाम कमा रहा है लेकिन फिर भी खुश नहीं है इसे दुखी होता है एंड एनीवेयर इफ दैट यश ऑफ हिम इज नॉट ग्लोरिफाइड he just gets disturbed becomes so miserable. There are people who because their importance is not recognized are told they just resign from the jobs or companies or political parties because मेरा नाम नहीं लिया गया बस मैं वापस लेता हूँ डोनेशन. Rajogunam. And third one is interesting here, Shriya. He wants wealth and wealth also he earns it. Again that it doesn't give him satisfaction. So he compared with some fellow and he tried to work and he earned money as much as this fellow has earned. The moment he feels satisfied, immediately his eyes fall on a fellow who is more richer than him. Again he compares and again dukhi. कर्म कर रहा है यश को पा रहा है धन को पा रहा है फिर भी दुखी है. I'm pausing here for you to understand it. Many times in our life, we go through these tragic moments in our life. Predominant of Rajoguna, that extreme attachment, and then differentiation with the people, and also there is the balam, insistence, not ready for logic, not ready for wisdom, not ready to sacrifice that insistences. With that power force in me, I keep on doing this and that activity, want to earn money, want to earn name and fame, फिर भी हमेशा एक ट्रैजिक दुखी फेस. तदा दुखेन युज्येता कर्मणा यशसा श्रिया. So that is what. Tada dukkhena yujjata karmana yashasa shriya. That means what? He wants to do those karmas which give him yasha and shri, and that yasha and shri sufficiently if doesn't come to him because it is never satisfying, because he never had got contentment, तो वो दुखा 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 मेहनत कर रहा है नाम कमाने को, हो नहीं रहा है, दुखी हो रहा है. You know, everybody in today's world, they want to become famous and they struggle so much, and when it doesn't happen they become dukhi. Even the spiritual field, everywhere people want to become well known, famous. कीर्ति वाला यश वाला जो कांक्षा है ना, जाता ही नहीं. Only a person who has understood wisdom of Vedanta, where he knows truth is one, self is one, everywhere it is Swayam, there is no speciality about it, and I have to discover that self in me. Such person goes away from the world into a gufa only. He is not worried about Kirti. In fact, he doesn't want to become famous only. Because becoming famous is going away from Bhagavan or the truth or reality, because reality is non-famous, non-specific. Otherwise, even big organization, यश के लिए कितना टेंशन होते बाबा. And Shri, Dhana. Therefore, what we have to understand here, the Rajoguna predominant person is in the kamana of Dhana and power, and to gain them, Dhana and name and fame, to gain them, he goes on doing karma. How much ever it is, whatever is due through as a result of that karma, that alone comes to him. but he is not satisfied with it. Therefore, there is dukkha in him. And also, he's got lot of sangha. ऊपर का जो बात बताया ना, संगम एंड भिदा, द भेद दृष्टि, सबको मिलकर आगे बढ़ने का थॉट नहीं होता रजोगुणी को. एंड ही हैज गॉट बलम, दिस राजसिक बलम, जिसके कारण लोग जिद्दी होते हैं, स्टबॉर्न होते हैं, इंसिस्टिंग होते हैं, अब्स्टिनेट होते हैं. That's very dukham. And at that time, the Rajoguna is fully playing its role. सत्व का दिमाग को काम नहीं करने दे रहा, तमोगुण का लेजीनेस या छोड़ दो वाला बात को भी काम छोड़ का आने नहीं दे रहा है. He is in full Rajoguna. Now this we should avoid. Therefore, don't allow Rajoguna with all these 6 things to become predominant in us. What are the 6 things here? Sangam, Balam, then Bheda Drushti, then always involved in the karma and struggling for getting the Yasha and getting the Sri. And when they're all not happening, he is sweating, toiling, becoming dukhi. यार इतना मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, फिर भी मुझे नहीं मिल रहा. Okay, no? इस तरह. Now the third one, our friend, when tamoguna becomes predominant, suppressing the other two fellows. Yada jayet rajaha and sattvam tamaha. When the tamoguna victorious, defeating other two gunas. At that time, first, what is the nature of the person's mind? Layam, mudham, jadam. Mudham, layam, jadam. Mudham is mohita, confused, not at all a clarity. He thinks he is clear, but the clarity is absolutely ulta. That's called as mudata. Second is layam. Layam is बार बार नींद में जा रहा है, गयो. Then the jada means what? Such a, what you call the jadata in him, non-movement, inertia of it. Laya is nidra, jadata is inertia. Then muda is confused, either slept or in the inertia state of thing. Not slept but inertia. Jada, हिलना ही नहीं चाहता हो. And muda is confused, taking good as bad, bad as good, friend as enemy, enemy as friend. When the tamas gets predominant, in muda laya jada. Jada you can say as akarmi. He doesn't want to move only. So then muda laya akarmi. If you can say, you can put as MLA. MLA साहब. Muda laya and akarmi. अच्छा है कि नहीं? You want to become MLA? तमोगुण जब दोनों को आने नहीं देता, to that person what happens? युज्येत शोक मोहाभ्याम. Again, more worse than the dukkha which comes and goes is the shoka which perennially remains in him. His face is morning to evening, only morning only. शोक. एंड पूछो उसको यार क्यों दुख हो रहा है, तो पता है नहीं यार मैं ऐसे ही हूँ. या आप इन्हें फाइंड करके बोला यार दिस इज द रीजन बिकॉज ऑफ व्हिच यू आर दुखी, बट दिस इफ यू कैन डू यू कैन कम आउट ऑफ इट. ये पता नहीं आई कांट अंडरस्टैंड, पता नहीं आई कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग. This type of moha many people go through when they go to Guru with all frustration. Guru finds the problem and diagnosis. He gives perfect solution and he tells, यार करो, मैं तुम्हारे भगवान की प्रार्थना भी करता हूँ. This fellow says, Guru Maharaj, I don't know, I can't understand, I can't do. Many people tell on the face of the Guru only. अब क्या करे Guru तब? Then the solution is given which is applicable and apply, you can do it. If you are so much in moha that you are defeating the Guru's guidance and blessings by your own non-acceptance or delusion, what will the Guru say? The go through then. बंदे जो ना मोह में फंस कर फिर सॉल्यूशन देने के बाद भी उसको यूज ही नहीं करते. एंड शोक, मेरा क्या हुआ, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. And at that time, into the shoka and moha, what activities push him in? These three things called as nidraya, himsaya, ashaya. So the rajas sattva are suppressed, tamas has predominant. It became the predominant tamas has got 3 gunas, 3 lakshanas. With these 3 lakshanas, this tries to do these 3 things, result of which is always in shoka and moha. So the 3 gunas that is there in the tamoguna vyakti is mudham, layam, jadam. And with the mudata, layata and jadata, how he behaves in the world? Nidraya. अब सोते रहोगे भाई, सारे अपॉर्चुनिटी चले जाएंगे, तो then you can never do anything, never achieve anything. Second is himsaya. He tries to do himsa of people. First of all, the main himsa is what? Depending on others. Becoming lazy and asking the wife or children or us, bring this, bring that, do this, do that. That himsa this stupid retired fellow does to the people at home is so terrible. The same people who were praying for him, Sausalji, till the time of retirement because he's working hard, earning money, bringing the gifts every day. Now they say, okay, bus ho gaya bhai, jail nahi sakta hu main. Because he's doing so much of himsa. In all this domestic violence, the tamoguna's predominance, because of which he loses all the sensitivity. All sattva is not there to understand. All are members of family. Each one has their limitations. We have to negotiate and go together, grow together. ये दिमाग काम करता ही नहीं, वो अपने एक्सट्रीम ईगो सेल्फिशनेस से he does himsa only. Third one is what? Ashaya. Only three moods are there for him. Either he will sleep, or when he get up, ये आशा, ये लाओ वो लाओ, नहीं लाएंगे तो हिंसा. He will do the abuses and all. See those drunkards? When they come with the drinker, they'll have so much of asha. ये दो वो दो नहीं दिया तो they do all beating to wife children when they are tired of that nidra. And when you are in nidra asha and all this, you'll always in shoka moha only. I'm telling you, these three shlokas are so important thoroughly to understand what's happening in the world around and see how the people are behaving under the influence of each of these gunas of the Prakriti. So to look into ourselves, take a period of one day, morning, evening, or 1 week. Analyze what happened in our life as experience. Wherever we had shoka moha, that means we were predominantly tamasic. Wherever we were dukkha, all continuously we were predominantly rajasic. When there is a peace, pleasure, happiness, peace, joy, just like that, content, that means what? That day we were in sattva guna. Other two were suppressed. And in that sattva guna, mind was bhaswaram vishadam shivam. Therefore, you are involving dharma jnanadvi. Therefore, it gave you sukha from within, and others also appreciated. You got sukha. So when the rajas was predominant, so much of sangha, so much of veda drishti, so much of insistence. With that, you want name and fame and money. That sort of action you do, but that's not appreciated by the people. The reciprocation doesn't come. Always dukkha. And the third one is tamasic predominance, moodamanaha, layamanaha, jadamanaha, always in nidra, doing himsa to others, and having so many asha, वो हमेशा दुखी शोक मोह में रहता है. Imagine throughout the day our mind in some shoka, some moha, some dukha. आराम से खुश मिजाज में रहना है ही नहीं हमको. Some by nature are like that. Even a good program is happening around. People are laughing and giggling with all the humor, comedy. ये बंदा रोते रहते तामसिक and राजसिक. उसकी दृष्टि जो मजा कर रहे उसमें नहीं है. अभी खाना नहीं आया, स्नैक्स नहीं आए, ये भोगी, या मुझे नहीं बुला रहे, अब मेरे को इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं दे रहे, रजोगुणी. He doesn't cherish that happy moments when people around are laughing and giggling all the time. सुबह से शाम, बचपन से बुढ़े होकर मरने तक भी there are some people in that mood. Have you seen any time the shoka moha dukkha in our Gurudev? He's always sukha because his mind was so bhaswaram vishadam shivam, and he was only in the dharma jnanadi karma. He was not only was happy, anybody coming around him. Suddenly, when you go near Gurudev to 100 meters or 200 meters, sometimes even half kilometer, depending on your tuning to him, you will see the atmosphere changing there. A different charge altogether there. For no reason you become happy with all your misery. कहते भी लोग आपके में इतना दुख लेकर आया, बट व्हेन आई सी द हैप्पी लाफ्टर एंड ऑल इन द शुद्ध सतगुण, मैं तो अपना दुख भी भूल गया. You see how is the presence of such great masters. And there are some stupid tamasic fellows inside, filled with tamaguna, their place of stay, their food, everything so terribly burst. Anybody with such a shuddha sattva also enter there within 10 minutes, वो भी इन्हीं की तरह दुखग्रस्त शोकग्रस्त हो जाते. उनके बातें भी ऐसे रहते हैं, देखना भी ऐसे होता है, खाने की चीज भी ऐसे होते हैं. क्या करूं मैं, ऐसा complaints, miseries, explaining again and again, sadness, and telling that I am the most unfortunate fellow in the world, and seeking sympathy from them, and blaming the world also. क्या दुनिया इतनी बुरा है? मैं क्या- Do you think all these are going to add to any happiness or what? खुद अपने दुख सुना के, इसका कारण दुनिया को दिखा के, दुनिया के बुराई को सहारो बता के, क्या पा रहे हो तुम इस दुनिया में? सब करके बेवकूफ नंबर वन. No, a Sattva never talks like that. He says the Lord is at every पूरे सृष्टि के कण कण में भगवान है. भगवान आनंद स्वरूप है. मैं जहां देखता हूं वहां आनंद ही आनंद है. वेर एवर आई सी, तेरी तस्वीर नजर आती है एंड योर तस्वीर इज आनंद वाला. सत्वगुणी विल नेवर सी एनीवेयर मिजरी. Where is misery? What a beautiful blue sky, the twinkle star, the wonderful clouds, what a rain, it is phenomenal. Huge mountains standing there, stopping these monsoons, giving us the rivers, storing the water during the winters as glaciers and supplying to us during the गर्मी season. पिघलाकर उसमें फिर औषधि गुण सब दे रहे हो, मिनरल वाटर पी लो तो तबीयत बढ़िया सा. See that whole forest giving the oxygen, all the क्या है इस दुनिया में बोलो दुखी होने को? तितली से लेकर तोते से लेकर हर एक जानवर जंतु कीड़ा मकोड़ा अपना आनंद ही बांट रहा है इस दुनिया में. इस सत्वगुण इज विजन इज ऑफ डिफरेंट. ही इज वेरी भास्वरम विशदम एंड शिवम. ही विल, उनको पता ही नहीं कि अशिव क्या होता है, मन का इम्प्योरिटी. He will never know the laziness of it. It's so clear, so pakka. Anything sees, he understands everything. If not, something you tell him, quickly catches it. And always in this dharma, in that jnana, in all values, noble virtues, his presence is a additional, is a great blessings to the world around. सत्व गुणी बनो, बनकर रहो आपके प्रेजेंस में ही सबको इतने खुशियां मिले, कुछ कहने की करने की भी जरूरत नहीं. That's why through mantrocharana, through nityopasana, through doing all the stotra patana ityadi, the Lord in the mandira is puja, did puja so much that the entire atmosphere is sattva guna yukta. For years together, every day done by those senior, serious pujaris, regular sincere. Therefore, any bhakta enters the temple and rings the bell, and the movement is going to the, near to that sanctum sanctorium. क्या मजेदार है. मैं बताऊं ना, हर घर इस तरह भगवान का देवालय बनना है और हर दिल भी भगवान का मंदिर. कैन वी ट्राई फॉर दैट? Eliminating all this tamas and rajas of greed and bhoga and money and like seeking our own name and fame and insisting that so much of bhida drushti sanga, क्या क्या कचरा भर के रखा भैया. सब धुलाई कर देना पूरा, फिनाइल डाल के या कोई ऐसे केमिकल डाल के. Wow, it would be Sattvagun, always remain in that. Never allow the Rajas Tamas to come. Be conscious of it as we saw in the introduction today. Be careful about which guna is entering to me through whatever the reasons. Whereas block it, no entry boss. Sattvagun ko entry hai. Tamas Rajas, please go away, go away. Children are taught, rain, go away, come again another day. We say Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, go away, never come. Only Sattva allowed. This portion of these three shlokas gives such a clear picture. And then we know at what level of tamas rajas we are, and blaming the world and fighting with people around and blaming the God only. अरे महाराज, अपने अंतकरण को थोड़ा सात्विक खुद बना के देखना. आपको किसी जरूरत ही नहीं है खुशी देने को. यू ओनली गिव एवरीबॉडी आनंद. Begging others for happiness and love and feeling miserable with rajas tamas, is that is better. I found the happiness in me because I am dharmic, I have all the jnana. My antakarna is satvika, vishada, shuddha. I know I am doing the best of my activities. Therefore I am happy. ये वाला बांटना है. आपको हमको भी दिन में ना, whenever I am sitting in class, I feel proud because there is shastikam vishadam buddhi with jnanam and dharmam. There is self-congratulating feeling at that time. And when the class is over, जैसे आप वैसे भी मैं भी. Mind become dull. Again it enters into some rajas of doing this or that and tamoguna. of some worry, some fear, some dukkha, because of some issue of past, present, whatever. देखो, सत्संग में आते ही तत्व गुण बनता है मन, बट व्हेन यू आर ऑफ द सत्संग they come. So it's a challenge posed in front of us, not allowing from within or outside the rajas or tamas to get predominant. Always सत्व को predominant करके रखना, बस किसी के अंतःकरण को, मन को, देह को, किसी को भी तमस में जाने नहीं देना. फिर उसके लिए जो भी करना है फिर. When the body with full pranayama, filled with oxygen at every layer of our body, and no tamoguni, rajoguni bhojana is not given to it, and every time with Lord's name we have poured ourselves inside, filled, the whole body will be in sattva. That's Gurudev. When Gurudev ji ko apna inke sharir ko touch karo na, you will feel such a vibration, because for looking sake it is the matter for you and me, but within it every ounce of it is filled with pure divinity. So to Arjuna, all these great people, they are become divya by Bhagavan Namasmarana, become divya by the wonderful, what we call the upasanas, etc., all the yoga, the pranayama, and not giving chance for any rasic tamasic. On the other hand, eat such a tamasic food, and everywhere there is fat, 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 and never taken Bhagavan's name only. On the other hand, fighting with each other with all the abuses. कैसा होगा उस बंदे का शरीर? So to प्राणकोश, so to मन. How all the time भगवान का नाम गुनगुनाते रहना मन में, उनके प्रति कृतज्ञता, उनके प्रति प्रेम. Every moment, the moment I get up, quickly jump out of that laziness, take bath and start taking नाम of the Lord. हमेशा मन उस खुश मिजाज में, सत्व गुण में रखना है. So to intellect, is it not? Trying to find good in everything, good in everybody, trying to learn lesson from any situation, how much worst it may be. And finally, trying to see the substratum behind, the self, the truth, and enjoying the play of Maya in this world. Bah, क्या तमाशा है तुम्हारा भगवान. टुडे यू इंसल्टेड मी, मजा आया मेरे को उसका भी. तुम भी मजा ले रहे हो, मैं भी ले रहा हूँ. अगले दिन प्रेज किया मुझे. सेम इज द एंटरटेनमेंट टू मी वेदर somebody insults or praises. A sattva enjoys everything. Pure. That's why he said sukham. And Rajasic fellow, Dukkham. And Tamasic fellow, Shoka and Moha. Perennial misery and always confused state. So, in this way, Yada Jayet Rajas Sattvam Tamo Mudam Laimjanam Yujjeta Shoka Moha Abhyam Nidraya Himsaya Shaya. So, what is said here is, Jab Sattva defeats other two, it looks like this. Means what? We have to do that. When the Rajas predominant, defeating other two, the behavior is like that, not good. So try to avoid it. The tamas, when it becomes predominant, suppressing the Rajas and Sattva, the fellow will be like that, which is so bad. They will never allow yourself to enter into that. That prayatnam not to enter into tamas Rajas and maintain Sattva is called sadhana. उसको करना पड़ता है, करने से होता है, नहीं करोगे तो नहीं होता है किसी को भी. This is what is a very important topic. So now Bhagavan comes to tell again continuously about the influence of these three gunas. Yada chittam prasideta indriyanam cha nirvrutihi dehe bhayam manosangam tat sattvam viddhi matpadam. What a beautiful sweet shloka. If these four things are happening, Bhagavan says that person is set up in full sattva-guna, and that sattva-guna in which he is there, because of which these four things are happening in him, mat padam. He says this is the state of being I stay in. ये मेरी स्थिति है जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ, अंदर की बात. I am in that state of being. This sattva-guni also is equivalent to me if these four are happening. So, yada chittam prasideta. Each of these points are very important and crucial. थोड़ा हम बताएंगे, आप सोच लेना. चित्तम प्रसीदता means always in the prasanna gambhira rupa the antakarana. Come what may, he is not compromising with the prasannata of the chitta. Always prasanna. Who can be the prasanna like that? The one who has eliminated all the kama, bhoga, expectation, attachments, every kachara of rajas has gone away and is always in that contact with the Lord and appreciating Lord's greatness in the world and seeing what He is blessing him with, using all of that in right form. Prasideta. प्रसन्न रहना है. चित्ता जो प्रसन्न है मानो, बनाना पड़ता है हमको उसको कॉन्शियसली. चित्तम प्रसन्न हो गया, अंतःकरण की बात हो गई. सेकंड वन इंद्रियाणम च निर्वृत्ति. These indriyas fellows are contented and satisfied and in their own golaka they are happy. They are not bhago to this or that. कान नहीं भाग रहा शब्द को तरफ, आंख नहीं भाग रहा ये रूप देखना वो रूप देखना, टंग इज नॉट गोइंग इनटू द फ्रिज और किचन एंड वांटिंग दिस और दैट. इंद्रियाणाम निर्वृत्ति. अच्छे अचीवमेंट इट इज, आई टेल यू. चित्त प्रसन्न है, इंद्रिया सर निर्वृत, दे आर हैप्पी इन देमसेल्व्स. टंग इज, उसको थोड़ा दे दो जो खाली बात बस काफी होगा, चाहिए ही नहीं बोलता है वो. ये सत्व गुण मैं हैप्पी हूं, मेरे को कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Indriyanam cha nirvritti. Third one is what? Dehe abhayam, the highest quality. There is no fear of the body that it is going to become old, it is going to get diseases or it is going to perish. जब उस जीव को अपने देह के बारे में कोई भय ही नहीं है. हमको इतना भय देह के बारे में होता है because so much of attachment to us. Because of the bhaya of the deha, the indriyas also restless, and because of these two, prasannata of the chitta is never there. Dehe abhayam. We are discussing this topic almost every day in one or the other class. The Lord gave us this body according to our own prarabdha. Are you happy with the way you used it? If not, try to make best use of it. More than that, don't worry about it because with worry, it's not going to stay permanently. Worry karo ya na karo, jis din jana hai jayega hi. More importantly, while being in this body, in what way we acted decides what next body we are going to get. And when I am satisfied in my sadhana, at least it is 55-60%, not 100. That's enough for me to convince कि भगवान दोबारा मुझे मनुष्य का ही देह देंगे. Like with unless some 10-20% doubts are there, depending on what are there in the sanchita karma of the past millions of lives. That's okay. Anyway, we don't know. But in this life, as per today's day, I can see टटोल कर अपने मन को देखते हैं तो वी आर लिटिल बेटर एज ए ह्यूमन, नॉट वर्स एनिमल्स राक्षसास. नहीं है ना, तो डेफिनेटली हमको फिर ह्यूमन देह ही मिलेगा और अच्छा ही मिलेगा. विथ दिस भरोसा, नो भय अबाउट दिस प्रेजेंट बॉडी. दैट्स कॉल्ड सत्वगुण लक्षण. देहे अभयम. देहे अभयम इंक्लूड सो मेनी थिंग्स. कि देह का कुछ होएगा ऐसा डर के जो साधनाएं सेवाएं करना बंद करते हैं ना, वो नहीं है. Such person says, for the sake of my nation, I am ready to give my body. For the sake of serving the Guru, I am ready to sacrifice. For doing the intense deep tapasya, like Parikshit. Dehe abhayam. No fear of the body is happening. Therefore, he took up that prayopesha vrata. He never gave water and food to the body, and he just lived 7 days and used his presence in the body for sadhana and ejected out of it. That's the meaning of dehe abhayam. तपस्या, सेवा, भक्ति, निरंतर श्रवण, ध्यान, ये सब करने के लिए देह भय है तो नहीं होता. इवन ए पर्सन विद देह भय कैन नॉट डू हिज ओन ड्यूटी. यू टेल दैट फेलो टू डू एक्सरसाइज, ही नहीं आई कांट डू योगा क्योंकि बोन्स टूट जाएंगे. अरे नालायक, ये एक्सरसाइज योगा करो तो बोन स्ट्रांग होते हैं, उसने तुमको सिखा रहे हैं और नहीं बोलता है करूंगा. आई विल नॉट डू दिस. They are so funny, I tell you. You are diseased, you take medicine. So medicine is given to make the body healthy, no? He is afraid of taking the medicine, thinking that is कुछ होगा देह के लिए. इतना वो परेशान करेगा घर वालों को, डॉक्टर को, लेगा ही नहीं दवा. Not taking दवाई, देह भयम. And ask him, you don't want body to be healthy? I want, but take the medicine? हाँ नहीं. Take the injection? हाँ नहीं. Get the operation done? हाँ. अरे जब जरूरत पड़ी तो you must get them done. What is that भया? कोशिश करो जीते जिए, मारे तो मरे. Let the doctor treat it. But they are afraid. देहे भयम. काम करो, देहे भयम. तपस्या करो, देहे भयम. जाके क्लास में 2 hours, 3 hours, I can't sit only. That is देह भयम only. Why can't you sit? Sit. Try करो. हाँ. Is it not? Dehe abhayam, there is no fear for him. So prasanna chitta, indriya nirvritti, no bhaya about the deha, its old age, that is roga. I told you both. देह भय नहीं रहेगा मतलब उसको सद्विनियोग के लिए भय नहीं रहना, और वो चला जाएगा, मेरे को नया मिलेगा कि नहीं, कैसा है, उसका भी भय नहीं रहना. फोर्थ वन इज व्हाट? मनो असंगम. सबसे स्वीट ये है. The mana is reveling in the devotion to the Lord. एक के एक बाद एक भगवान के सुंदर दिव्य कहानियों को सुन सुन के पढ़ के खा ना याद कर कर के is reveling in joy of tears toward the devotion of the Lord. भजन से, कीर्तन से, नाम से, लीलाओं से, सुंदर रूप से, उनके धाम से इतने परवश होकर आनंद होगा वो कि other than that his mind has no sanga for anything or being in the world. What a great achievement. I to want this as early as possible. If that is there, tat sattvam. And vidhi mat padam. Bhagavan is in this stage. Bhagavan is zero sangam. Bhagavan has no bhaya for the deha. Bhagavan's indriyas are never disturbed to seek the things around. Bhagavan amesha prasanna chitta. Mama padam, he says, mat padam. That means what? You have already reached me. You just only have to show myself, touch you. When I touch you, you become you get divya chakshu, and I show myself to you, and you see me as you are. जैसे अर्जुन को भगवान ने विश्व रूप दर्शन कराया, ऐसे ही भगवान हमको कम से कम मेहनत से अपना दर्शन कराएंगे. That is the meaning of mat padam. It's my position, my status. You look at me, you will see me, you enjoy me, you have darshan of me, and you even become one with me. That's the so many meanings of the word mat padam. So what is our sadhana? Chitta prasannata, indriya nirvriti, deha abhayam, mano asanga. इन तीनों में चारों अपने अपने जगह पे इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट मोर इंपॉर्टेंट इज मनो असंग. Yes, mana is so much of attached to the things beings, and हो गया कभी का 10 साल पहले, फिर भी उसको याद करते रहते. And one of the sangam of the mana is asha. But the asha, the things and people will change and become conducive to me. That doesn't depend on your asha. It depends on your effort as well as prarabdha. Leave it for prarabdha and God's grace, or put your efforts. But guarantee नहीं efforts का. पक्का result होगा करके. But we're always in that vain hope. आध्यात्मिक आशा अलग होता है कि आई रिमेंबर द लॉर्ड, आई प्रे टू हिम, आई विल डू पूजा, वन डे आई विल ग्रो सो मच दैट लॉर्ड इज प्लीज विथ मी, विल गिव मी दर्शनम. दैट इज एन इंस्पिरेशनल होप. दैट आशा इज एनकरेज्ड. बट द अदर आशा की दुनिया मेरे लिए बदलेगी, लोग मेरे लिए बदलेंगे, मुझे प्यार करना शुरू करेंगे, मर जाओगे लेकिन नहीं होगा. ये लिख लेना इन अ बिग बोल्ड वर्ड्स एंड राइट ऑन द थिंग. Never ever drop all that. Asha means why the asha also comes to us. In the past, we had good experiences. At that time, we never thought it ki Bhagavan ne diya, thank you very much. That we made it such an impression strong. That is the same thing we want again and again. That is the asha. Like yesterday, you all came on time regularly. Kappaka. And then such a joy I had, and I had asha today also. कि आज लोग भी आएंगे. स्वामी जी हर दिन गलतियां नहीं होते. यू विल टेल मी. कल गलती से आके बैठ गया मैं. See that Pingala story in the 24 gurus. Ashahi paramam dukkam nairashyam param sukam iti sanchitya in iti sanchitya tyaktasha sukam swapa Pingala. Sukam swapa Pingala. What a clarity there came to us. The आशा के रूप में होता है मनोसंगम. These are all, this inner mechanism of what's happening at the mind level, chitta level, देह level, हमको समझना है. हम कोई कोशिश ही नहीं कर रहे. इसको समझना कोशिश को आध्यात्मिकता कहते हैं. Then finding all negativities, removing them and putting only positive is called आध्यात्मिक साधना. करना पड़ता है उसको. So this is called Sattva Guna. Then what is Rajas and Tamasa? Let us see them tomorrow. Today we'll conclude with Sattva Guna only. And try this. Chittam Prasanna. Indriyas Nirvruto. Manaha Asangam. देह का भय नहीं. और देह भय से क्या होता है ना, we give more sleep to it, we give more food to it, and that causes more diseases. And when you see the news and all, suddenly गाना गा के मर गया बंदा. दो बंदे मर गए yesterday while singing song. One तो collapsed only, that old man in Kerala. And this fellow also went to hotel and collapsed. The other fellow was killed. 3 singers in 3 days killed. वो देखकर हमको डर लगता है. I tell you, they died from this body, but they all have gone to Gandharva Loka only. Because such a great contributors through singing. Thousands people, they gave them some consolation, some solace, some happiness. In the world of dukkha today, even these people who are giving a small little entertainments, of course, positive wale, they themselves are Mahayogis. The great real spiritual yogis are not able to give ananda because people are not finding interest in them. बट द सिंगर, द भजनकार, द कीर्तनकार, हो सब लोग जो दुख से जूझ रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दर एक्सट्रीम एरोगेंसेस, ईगो, सेल्फिशनेस, लस्ट्स एंड ऑल, इतने दुखी आत्माओं को लोग 2 घंटे 3 घंटे सुख शांति दे रहे हैं. You know, the patriotic singers, the devotional singers, I thought really thank them, do namaskar to them, that they are giving more happiness to the people of world than we all spiritual seekers. हमको ना पहले अब आओ बैठो सत्संग सुनो समझो तब जाकर ये तो परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन. वैसे तो इवन दो सिंगर्स आल्सो हैव टू कम हियर, अदर दे आल्सो बिकम मिजरेबल. अल्टीमेटली यही है. ओनली थ्रू स्पिरिचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट द मिथ्यात्व ऑफ द जगत, सत्यात्व परमात्मा, दैट वी राइज अबव ऑल दुख, एंटर इनटू द सुख परमानेंटली. Because of that reason only we don't give up this job and take up the singing job. वो तो deep rooted thought तो है ही, but at the surface level, therefore nothing to worry. Why I'm telling all this example is the देह भय. ये न्यूज सुनते हैं, उम्र का हमको याद आता है. So what? None of this. In fact, look at the देह and tell thank you to it. यार इतना दिन मुझे मैं नामक इस जीव को तुमने सपोर्ट दिया है, वजन उठाया, तब तक थैंक यू माय डियर बॉडी. So this is how there's no way than getting the clear knowledge and understanding to save ourselves. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Krishna Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Satgurnath Maharaj Ki